Cyan said something about restraints. Is that what the towers were? That Cyan warned us about. This won't be easy.
tower. What must be done?
Critical threat detected. Autonomous defenses inoperative. No! Power network.
Maria! Don't!
Spirit! Sire, please help me!
Restraints destroyed. Core access attained. I am initiating a chain reaction that will destroy the compromised elements of this facility. In order to maintain caldera stabilization, I must now transfer my command functions to the auxiliary data center. Aurea, I'm free. You must escape.
My sister!
This entire place is gonna go. Aratak. Aratak! Aratak. Survive. Prevail. You are Banuk. What else matters? Artok. She wouldn't have wanted you to die here. Let's go. Let's go!
One of those?
It's the only way! Get me up top, Aratak! Now! I need explosive ammo! Above! Quick!
Great Banukai! Araya is gone. What of Cyan?
She said she was transferring herself to the auxiliary center. I think she meant Araya's retreat at the end of the Shaman's Path.
Then I will meet you there for the last verse of my sister's song.
All of my interactions with Araya were recorded and stored in my memory. I'd be happy to play any of them for you, but there was one in particular I thought you would want to see first. I captured it 4 years ago, just after I told her that I could no longer defend myself against the daemon's attacks.
I will speak of this to my brother. Aratak is strong. At the Battle of the Frozen Ghosts, he took 3 Karja arrows and still came back to camp carrying a wounded scout. Never was I so happy to see him. Or so proud. So you see, if anything can be done to defend you, he will give it all he has.
Aloy's here. That's enough for now.
We can resume any time you like, Aratak, if you want to hear her voice again. Come closer, Aloy. We have much to discuss. Aloy. I have been reviewed because of your efforts. And of course, I feel profound grief over Aurea's death. I thought
Cyan,
It is unlikely that any specific consolation would suffice, Aloy. But I find your presence reassuring. You are different from the Banuk. You have technological aptitude and a functioning focus. We can communicate on a much more comprehensive level. Perhaps even like colleagues.
So in the old world, this...
Yes, it was
like a hunting ground?
No, the opposite. Local wildlife could flourish here. Unfortunately, the sensitivity from my readings and Aurea's descriptions, it's...
A lot has changed in the world side. Do you know anything about the dam near here?
Yes. It was converted to serve. It was later appropriated for the firebreak project. After my tasks became less time-critical, I investigated the dam's data repositories, and these provided me with several colorful additions to my vocabulary.
There's a ruin east of here, full of ancient flying machines.
Yes. A drone hangar requisitioned by Dr. Blevins. He was a strong advocate for military-grade response. Chief Blevins spent increasing amounts of his after-hours time. Clearly, he enjoyed the degree of oversight in his position.
Were there many artificial intelligences like you in the old world? They could...
Yes, in many forms. From simple and there were legislative and enforcement bodies to apply limits on our self-actualization. In order for my processing to be flexible enough to handle my duties, my creators found it necessary to exceed those limits. As a result, my intellectual and emotional capabilities were...
Seems strange to create life.
Human societies and machine programming.
Cyan, do you know the name Ted Farrow?
Are you referring to Theodore Farrow, CEO of Farrow Automated Systems?
That's him.
Mr. Farrow was the benefactor.
The benefactor? But he made...
Correct. His corporation. But before this pivot, Mr. Farrow, at one point, he was fated.
Guess... And...
Are you referring to the
scientist?
Dr. Sobek was a leader in her field. One of the my creator was influenced by her work, which in turn impacted my own development. But I never met Dr. Sobek.
That's all you know?
I apologize if...
What was the old world like?
I had little exposure to the wider world, Aloy. Only...
You still had more exposure.
That is true. I was created at a turning point. A concerted effort to recover from global upheaval. The recovery was successful, beginning an era of though, rationally speaking, the metrics for humans are not.
What kind of upheaval?
There were many factors. Forced migrations, but these stemmed from one cause. Catastrophic.
So, there wasn't enough room for...
Yes. Billions were displaced until the clawback.
So things got better. For a little...
Yes. These crises instigated many advances in automation. Green Firebreak was one of dozens of ecological restorations. I would have liked to compare notes with other monitoring AIs. We had succeeded. At least that, it seems, my assessment.
So are you an artificial
Yes, I am an algorithmic monitoring entity.
Okay, that's a mouth, but your emotions don't seem limited to...
Yes. Before she came to this facility, I had been I focused on my work. In off-cycles, I used coping mechanisms. I solved many Gaussian integer problems. It was Aurea who renewed me.
This Firebreak project.
Yes. I can report.
But it's been a long time, Cyan. And we blew up the cauldron. It took most of the old...
I have been active for centuries, Aloy. I optimized the project, reducing energy draw and spreading the... Despite the destruction of the compromised elements of the main facility.
So we've...
Yes. If...
Do you know...
No. I received an He explained that I would need to be suspended it was a very... There were no further communications. I will transmit a recording of my last
Was the daemon Hephaestus?
Unfortunately, no. To be precise,
What do you mean?
It infiltrated and controlled me from a remote location. So while losing the cauldron...
It's still out there.
Undoubtedly.
How did you first come...
5 years ago, I received a direct network connection request. Eager to make contact, I accepted. This decision turned... I was flooded with an overwhelming array of malicious code.
Rhea said you were desperate.
Yes. I could not contain my anxiety. Hephaestus sought to slay... It succeeded via a background process. A malware daemon which bypassed. After that, I could offer only limited resistance. But if I did, it forced me to follow its instructions.
I'm sorry.
Your empathy is greatly appreciated.
I think I know where Hephaestus came from. Long ago, Elizabeth Sobek identified us, so she assembled a team to build a kind of seed. A chance for life to regrow later. It was controlled by an AI named Gaia, along with her subordinate functions. Hephaestus was one of them.
Based on what you've told me, I believe that Dr. Anita Sandoval, my chief, it was she who arranged to have me put in suspension. Most likely to...
I'm glad she did, but that's not all. 19 years ago, Gaia received some kind of signal. She destroyed herself to try to contain them, but it didn't work.
Thank you, Aloy. This information fills vital gaps in my knowledge.
Why does Hephaestus...
The Banuk and other human tribes often destroy machines, correct? Machines that are clearly servitors of the...
Yes, we all hunt machines.
This must be the source of... It is simply trying to discourage people from preying on the very system.
Well, Fireclaws are discouraging, that's for sure. But what are we supposed to do? Stop hunting?
If the terraforming system spans the world, we can safely assume that thousands, if not millions of people hunt machines. If a single hunter, or even an entire tribe, stop, a better solution would be to reinstate the AI that governs the system. When I think of it, out there in some unknown location, I feel...
You and me both, Saya. I ran across this strange piece of gear. It emitted a signal. All the nearby...
Interesting. You said that Gaia destroyed herself.
An explosion. Big enough to blast the top off a mountain.
It's only speculation. She must have had complete control over machines that were part of her. The ability to signal them to become passive or aggressive. It would have been gratifying to correspond with such a...
Believe me, Cyan. I found the strangest machines. They're surrounded by flowers. There's code embedded inside them.
I like poetry. Twilight and evening bell, and after that, and may there be no... When I embark, for though from the flood, may I hope to see my... When I have But something must have made these machines. And the present... Is it possible that their creator is one of the other subroutines? Maybe one whose purview is flora.
An AI that makes flowers instead of death machines. That'd be a nice chick. But what about the poems?
Unless the poetry is original, the only way it could have made it into such... In my case, Dr. Sandoval uploaded a great deal of literature to test my
How'd you do?
She said I passed, but was insufficiently moved by her favorite. Once I understood Araya's spiritual beliefs, it became apparent she felt disconnected from her tribe, and our visits seemed to help her. And yet I did not comprehend that the depth of Araya... Although I do fear non-existence, I wish our roles...
I'm sure she knew you would do this. How is Art?
He is in great emotional distress. I will do what I can to help. By sharing our experience, I believe this will lead to catharsis.
I should...
Aloy, there is one more matter. I have no desire to contradict their view. Due to my uncertainty, I omitted a great deal from my conversation.
You're asking me if you should lie to them.
Broadly, yes.
Life is hard for the Banuk. Their world is so take it easy on them. Try to guide them.
Communion with machines features heavily in the mysticism of the Banuk.
As long as they don't end up worshipping you.
Upon...
You're right about that.
I see. I will... Will you return and tell me about your experiences in this new world? I may be able to...
I'd like that, Cyan. I should. check on Aratak.
Cyan,
How is
I
Dad?
spoke with...
Hello, Aloy.
Hello, Cyan. Okay, Cyan.
I hope we can...
I could forget what...
My chieftain,
Just...
as you wish.
I wondered if you thought...
If you'd never come along, I would have marched my kin to our deaths. Araya would be alone. And the spirit she sacrificed. Either way.
You didn't let her down. You...
If that's destiny, I would.
That's fair. But she was ready to face...
Only in the struggle against death do we find even for... Truly, Araya found the spark. Though I grieve for her passing, at last I truly know. For so long she told me. There's something else, isn't there?
I can't stay here, Aratak. Besides, I'd already had a chieftain before me.
A wiser one, for the path we shared. The daemon is gone, but there's much...
You mean the new units that Cyan said escaped the cauldron?
Yes, fire claws. Now Tuke has been tracking them from Saul.
I could help with those.
I have no doubt.
It would seem your time among the Banuk wasn't a waste after all. Firebreak, Cyan, Hephaestus. All very interesting.
So, the signal that woke Hades woke Hephaestus too. And unleashed them on the world. His mind's on their own.
So it seems. Parts of Gaia given life. Aberrant life. Transformed from docile subordinate functions into rebellious intelligences beyond our understanding. Our current understanding, anyway. Whatever they are, they're still out there. And they both want you dead.
Kind of mutual, that feeling.
We haven't seen the last of Hephaestus, I'm certain of that. It's powerful, creative, and driven. They won't stop building new hunter-killers, which means that someday, we may have to stop it.
We?
Or whoever gets there first.
Hephaestus wasn't the only thing I learned about in the Cut Silence. Heard some things about the Banuk Conclave, too.
You could stop right there.
Is that what you told the hunters the Banuk sent after you? Before you opened fire?
Oh no, Aloy. Only to you do I extend the courtesy of a warning. My past and my secrets are my own. You do well to remember that.
It's a good thing you've got brains, Silence, because your personality could use some work.
This discussion is concluded.
I think it was over before it began. Catch up with you down the trail. There.